It's NEC Football Media Week, and we're once again swimming with the Sharks. And today we're joined by their fifth-year head coach, Ron Cooper. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you. No problem at all.
Now, let's kind of go back to last year, and I want to talk first before we look at the season and as a whole. I want to talk about one game in particular, how you began September with that landmark win for the team, for the league, with a 28-23 victory over Eastern Michigan. It was the program's first ever win over an FBS team. So now here we are 10, 11 months later, looking back on that. How much of an impact did that night mean, and how much of an impact did it make for your program?
Well, it definitely was a big win. When you take our program or an NEC team, if you just take by numbers and scholarship numbers, we're nowhere near close to what, an FBS team may have. But it's a proven fact that any team can put only 11 on the field at a time. And they put their 11 out. Our guys played well. We made plays. To have that win on the road was big. And hopefully, get off players coming up in the near future, because every year we're going to play one or two or three of those games that, we'll always have a chance to win if we play hard and everything works play up.
Now, that win certainly was the highlight, but you could make a case it kind of came at a price. There were injuries in that game, injuries the week after as well, especially the quarterback position. The team lost 4 straight games, started 0-2 in conference, but then rebounded by winning 5 of the final 6, finished 6-6 overall and 4-3 in conference play. So overall, there were some ups, there were some downs. How do you assess the 2025 season when you look back?
Like you said, whenever you, right after the East Michigan win, the next, we lose. We were a 2-quarterback system, and we lost, Ethan and Luca. So, that took away from us on offense, where neither quarterback was available. We felt that, and then we had injuries to some guys on the offensive line. And but as they made it back during the year, we found a way to pick it back up and finish strong by winning 5 out of the last 6 in conference play. And we got a good schedule again this year, and we'll just see how it goes. But every year, we're gonna always start off non-conference in a way to where we're playing some teams that on paper have outmanned us.
Now let's turn the page to this year's team, and right at the start of the new year, how big of a holiday gift, New Year's gift was it when you got word that Ethan Greenwood is coming back for another year at quarterback?
Yeah, it was really good. He's a really good football player, good leader on our team. He's worked like crazy. Again, we still have another quarterback too. Both of them are back. Luca too. That we've won with. So they're both competitors, but Ethan will move around in the pocket. Luke can move also. But it's good to have both of them back, to be truthful, because somebody's going to get hurt during the season. And then again, I still like playing key quarterbacks also.
And that kind of leads me to the next question, because this year there's a new offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, Maurice Harris, coming in. So I'm wondering, and I know a lot of fans are wondering, are we still going to see some of those creative wrinkles with multiple quarterbacks receiving, running backs throwing? Are we still going to see some of that, or is it going to be a little bit of a different look in 2026?
Well, Coach Harris is putting his own spin on things. And, he's been coaching a long time. I've known him the last 25 years and have followed him. And he's been to some great programs and been under some great coaches, and he's been in every environment. So what he's going to face right now won't be too big for him. And he's done a great job with our coaches, great job with our players. Players love him. He's got the right chemistry for our players. So there'll be a few different wrinkles, but at the same time, you do what we do. But there'll definitely be a few new wrinkles there.
All right, so some new exciting things for fans to look forward to this year when you watch the Sharks. For the run game, Coach, last year 45% of your rushing yards came from the quarterbacks. We expect your quarterbacks, that you have them both back, are going to be doing some running again. But then the 40% after that is from guys who are no longer on your roster that need to be replaced. So how are the battles going in the running back room, and how is that shaping up so far?
Well, we feel good about a couple of guys that we've signed a couple of years ago. We signed Tysell Spencer and Nazir Hennington, and they're both still young backs, but we signed them knowing that there was going to come a time with that. But we've also added in, a transfer. Sam Slade from Holy Cross will join us in a couple of weeks, but we've added in an older guy that's been around, has carried the ball in their conference, and has done well. And you'll probably see who was that quarterback last year, Chris Howell, this spring, and He actually took some running back reps, proved that he's a good of an athlete, and so that way puts another wrinkle on the field because he may have been a tailback, but he also played quarterback also. So I'm excited on that, to watch our running back room. The thing about it, nobody's played in the game yet there, but on our level, there are a lot of schools that are like that. So they got guys that have to fill in because guys are lost in the portal.
What's your comfort level right now with the offensive line? Or is they're shaping up pretty well? Is there still some work to do?
Yeah, there's definitely some work to do. We got some young guys coming in. The offensive line here has been really hit over the last couple of years, and what's happened is, what we've recruited some pretty good young talent, but for the last couple of years we've probably lost 8 guys in the portal, and I don't blame them. It's almost like in our recruiting pitches right now to our linemen is if you come here and you start, somebody's going to take you and pay you, and that's what's been happening. There's several, one at Rutgers, there's one at UNC, there's one at Athens, Ohio, at Ohio U. There's one at Florida Atlantic. There's so we've lost some players to good schools, and that's just how it is. But we've replaced them with a couple of guys. We got some guys that's got to step up. We that's a place where there's not a lot of players returning, except for Sean Broderick that have actually played, and Sean actually still hadn't played that much. He's still a young kid, so other than that, it'll be a new group, but that's how it is on this level.
Now, on the other side of the football, last year LIU had the #1 defense in the NEC in yards allowed and points allowed per game, the only team in the league that held opponents to under 20 points and 300 yards on average. So what is going to be the key to replicating or even improving on that in 2026?
Well, we've got to keep doing what we're doing. We're not going to change up. We got new faces in. We do have a couple of linebackers that are back that have played, McGurn and Fossilino. Trey Watkins, the safety that, had 6 interceptions last year, is back. He went into Portland, came back. So there's some new faces, but Kesney Brown, who's played up front for us, Naquan Johnson, who's played up front for us, Rodney Mills, they've all played a whole lot of football, but you can't play with just those 8 guys. It takes 22 the way we play defense. So I believe in playing, 2 deep on both sides. There's a cornerback, Braylon Vincent, that went into portal for a little bit and came back too, so that played last year. But I believe in playing 2 deep, and when we play the way we play, it takes 22 guys to play, sometimes 22 to 24. But as a team, we just got to stay healthy and see what happens.
You mentioned Trey Watkins. He certainly generated some preseason buzz here this summer. What does having him back mean to the defense, not just from all the interceptions, the big plays you mentioned, but also from a leadership and experience standpoint?
Definitely, he understands the system. He's a great young man. He's one of our leaders. I don't have to worry about certain things because the free safety's right in the middle of everything, and he sees the entire formations. This game has changed. You got to be able to adjust. There's nobody just playing in stagnant formations anymore. You got to be able to adjust to move in the secondary and be able to play. And I feel real good about him being back at.
Are there any other newcomers or players who are going to have an increased role this year that stand out as guys could be headed for maybe a breakout season in 2026?
Yeah, we've brought in a couple of guys. We've got a couple of transferred outside backers, and Marquacious Wright and Noah Livingston. Phillip Baines came back for a 5th year that played some last year. We've got some new faces in the secondary that we signed from the transfer portal that I'm looking forward to seeing them play. And we've got a group of guys that have played. When I say played, not made many plays, I'm looking at depth chart right now, that have played wide receiver here. They've had snaps. They don't have a lot of catches, no, but we've signed a couple of transfers that will help us get better that way. So I'm looking forward to getting started next weekend. We play an early game, so we get a chance to report in July, at the end of July. So it'll come before you know it.
Absolutely. And let's get to the schedule and some of the highlights on LIU's schedule this year. They open on Thursday, August 27th, indoors at North Dakota. The following Friday, the 4th of September, they're at Kansas. The home opener is Saturday, the 12th of September against Albany. The NEC opener is October 3rd against Mercyhurst. They have a rivalry game on the 17th of October at Wagner. And then the last 2 weeks of the season in November, they're home against Central Connecticut and at Robert Morris to finish out the regular season. So, Coach, what are your thoughts on how the schedule shapes out and some of the challenges that might lie ahead?
Yeah, it's always difficult, but with being on the road, we're playing North Dakota. They were a playoff team the last several years. They lost this past year, the second round of the playoffs. They lost players too, but they're always good. They're physical up front. It's going to be a physical game. We don't have a whole lot of time to where we can't be preparing. Meaning the 27th will come fast. And so it's not to worry. You have a game the first week of September. We're playing week 0, but they're a good football team. They got a great quarterback to spat. Usually a quarterback that plays like he plays has gone into portal, but to show his commitment to the university and the type kid he is, there's no doubt in my mind that to come back, they're fired up about him. They've got a new offensive coordinator, so we'll see what. I know there'll be changes, but we do what we do, and so that one's a challenge. And the next week, you come back on a Friday, you go to Kansas the next week. Two programs got 105 guys on scholarship, and we're not even nowhere near close to that. So it's just where we are. But you never know. We'll strap it up, and then you come home with Villanova and Albany at home. So at least we get a chance to come back home after those 2 weeks. Before we start the play, and then go to Florida International in Miami. Which is then after that we go right into conference play. So we've got to be healthy. We've got to have a great camp. We've got to practice. As I told our guys, we can't afford to get anybody hurt, so nobody gets hurt this year. And if we stay healthy, we'll be able to make a run at it.
We know, Coach, in the 4 years that you've been here previously, 13-3 record over the last 4 games of the season, which is incredible for the final month. It's been getting started, getting off on the right foot. That's kind of held you back. So if you're going to contend for a championship, what's going to be the key to using those non-conference games to be ready for Mercyhurst beginning of October to get off out of the gates on the right foot?
Well, the key will definitely be play as hard as you can play as smart as we can play, and but make sure that we hadn't done anything stupid. I don't believe in getting injured in practice. If the game's injured or we get beat up a little bit, that happens. But everybody's still on their feet in practice. We're going to try to stay healthy during camp. But camp has to be physical, because when you look at where we're playing and who we're playing, you can't just say we're going to hit and tackle the first week against North Dakota. We got to be ready to hit and tackle that week. So I feel real good about our guys. The guys have worked like crazy. Their attitude is good. We've got to have a good plan for them and keep them going and stay positive with them.
Well, Coach, we look forward to following the Sharks throughout the year. Best of luck to you here in 2026.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
The LIU Sharks will open up their season in North Dakota against the Fighting Hawks on Thursday, August 27th, 7 p.m. local time out there in North Dakota. I'm Craig D'Amico, and this is NEC Football Media Week.